This session, we are looking at problem-solving mental models for entrepreneurs and executives. Problem-solving mental models. These are four powerful words coming together to form this course. One thing about business is, as you are solving problems for others to make money, you also have problems in your own business. That's the funny thing about business. You make money by solving people's problems, and internally you have problems. No matter how big you are as an institution, no matter how small you are, you will always have problems. And for you to remain sustainable in business, you need to be good at identifying external problems that you can solve in your target market, and of course, identifying internal problems in your own business, in your own internal systems that can negatively affect your business. All right, and the solving part talks about looking for answers. When you identify these problems, look for answers. Figure out how to get rid of these problems. Figure out how to design solutions for these problems. Figure out how to minimize the pains that these problems are actually creating for your target market or for your business. And the mental part is like the heart of solving problems. You cannot solve problems when you don't have the right mental capacity. Yes. The heart, like you, before you decide that you want to build a machine to solve a problem, it must start from the mind. That is why when you look, when you see people who really invest in their mindset, who invest in building capacity, their mindset capacity, they always know how to solve problems. That's a fact about it. You understand? And that's why if you look at yourself, anytime you read a new book, anytime you attend a new training, anytime you take a new session, a new course like this, you will notice that when you go back, if you are really good at knowledge usability, you will notice that when you go back to your business, there are some problems that used to worry you or disturb you. You will now have a way of solving the problem. Maybe let's do a quick survey. Since you started the business sustainability program so far, I think this is the fourth day, or the third or the fourth day. Tell me, just confirm in the chat box with a yes or no. Do you feel, are there some problems in your business or some things in your business that you have been missing out, or you never know that they exist, but because of one of the courses you have gone through, have you started thinking about certain things in your business? Anybody? Have you started thinking about certain things in your business that you have not been thinking about at all? Good. You see that because what is causing that is because your mental capacity has been upgraded. It has been upgraded. And experience also has a role to play. Yes. Even you may not take a course, but because you have been in business for 10, 15, 20 years, that alone also contribute to your mental capacity. This is what illiterate used to build businesses. Those people that did not go to school at all, but they run successful businesses. What they do is they use experiences that they have gone through to actually build their businesses. So it's all about experience. That's why you see, like, if you go to so many rural areas, even urban cities, you see so many people that don't know how to use calculators. They don't know how to write amounts in words. They don't know how to do that. I mean, there's one part I know. He has a very good business that is making money. He does not know how to save people's names, writing their names, because he did not go to school. So he cannot type somebody's name. So he saved names using numbers. So if I give my number now, he'll write 102. And he will keep it in his head that if he wants to call me, he'll go and look for number 102 in his phone book and then call me. So his business, and most of those businesses always go and they have a limitation. They have a ceiling. That's why mostly in the West, people who are school dropouts hire a lot of more intelligent people, like MBA graduates and of course, doctorate degree holders and so on. Like when that's I always laugh at who quote, oh, Bill Gates, a school dropout and they succeeded. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook. They put all of these people, but they forget that the second in command, third in command, CFO, CMOs, all these top executives working under them, they are all MBA holders. They have all gone to Stanford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, all of these big schools. They forget that. They think that because many of them just have the idea and the vision, the building of the real products, the building of the real structures and internal systems, and the things that really makes a business. The mental work itself is not done by the founders themselves. They can just provide guide and tell them what they have in their mind, the visionary status and all of that. You see? So the mental capacity is very important. And then the models, problem solving mental models. So models are like ways, right? Models are like, okay, this is a structure that you can use to solve a problem like this. This is the process that you can use. This is a problem-solving tool. Models are tools that you can use, like a step-by-step process that you can use to solve business problems. So you need to be good at all of these four things for you to succeed in doing that. And as I said earlier, there is no way you can talk about business sustainability if you don't know how to solve problems. I know people that have abandoned businesses and some have gone into depression because of so many problems. They wake up, is problem after problem after business. Business for you. The people that stay relevant doesn't mean that they don't have problems. No, the difference is they have developed the attitude to solve problems, and they have developed the mental models to solve these problems. It doesn't mean that you face more problems than them. No, it doesn't mean that you face more problems than me. No, I have problems on a daily basis. The difference is, for some people, they face the problems and solve them head on. Some people, they are driven by emotions, and when problems come, what they think of doing is crying, what they think of doing is complaining, what they think of doing is, oh, life is so hard, business is so hard. That's all they think of doing, which does not really help. I always ask somebody, okay, after all that complaining, what has changed? You're looking at me. What has changed? Right? Right. So let's look at these models and how you can use them. And I want you to know that, you know, that's why if you study the life of many successful people, they keep a lot of quiet time and meditation. See, one of the most important things that successful business people do, one of the most important things that successful people do is what they do during their quiet time. And during their quiet time is not just meditation. No, during their quiet time is when they pick out any of their models that they are good at using, and they start and they pick problems in their businesses and they start solving. Like, for example, if one of my staff, there's a problem and they need my point of view, many a times, some problems, I don't just give responses right away. I say, okay, I will think about it. What I'm trying to say is, hey, I'll go sit down and pick one of the models, break down the problem, then I come to a conclusion and I give you a response. Being a Christian, which I believe a lot in the Holy Spirit, when I do that, I still pray about it to receive full direction from the Holy Spirit. Is this what should be done? Right? You use models and you do that. Like recently, we just recruited a new team member as an accountant. We ended up having three people that we want to choose. And I had to put down all the three people, so they analyze them one after another. That was me using a model. I put the vision, I put what they said, I put their CV, I put what my expectations, I put what I think they can do in the future. I'm just doing my best so that you don't just wake up and you just do anything anyhow. That's why many people don't run stable businesses. because there are some problems that they should have taken time to solve. They provide reactive responses right there, right now, without thinking deep, without looking at what is the root cause of the problem, what is the foundation, what is the future state, what will be the future state of the business if I do this, if I don't. They don't even think about all of those kind of stuff. And that's why knowing how to use the problem solving mental models becomes a very important stuff that you can use. Okay, there's another course that I have on I think 18 meta connection, more ways, 18 different more ways to solve problems. I love to just research different ways to solve problems so I can use it. Okay, so if any of you need that course, you can check later. Now you can get a course very affordable. I don't know the price right now, so that's what I'm saying. So, but it's good to, one of the best ways that I've discovered to win in business is to know different ways that you can solve problems, different ways. And one thing I'll advise you is learn to say, wait, I'll think about it. It's an asset. Don't be, see, a good executive is not under pressure to do certain things. Let's be cautious about that. Some of us can bear with me that you have messed up many times because you excitedly responded or tried to provide the solution to a problem without sleeping over it. I don't know why. So you were not comfortable saying, wait, I will think, give me some time. I will think about it. That's always say something like, your emergency is not my emergency, right? Let me think about it. Can anybody here confirm that you have gone into funny problems in business because you excitedly provided response to something that you did not think about it, or you did not go through a proper way to solve the problem or solve the situation? You see, yes. You just excitedly, boom, jump into it. And then you're like, oh my goodness. Later on, like 2 hours later or 2 days later, like, oh, I totally messed up. No, I did not carefully think about it. Yeah, you end up spending a lot of money unnecessarily. Meanwhile, if you took time to break down certain things, you would have been able to avoid certain things. Okay, model number 1, they are not in any order, okay? They're not in any order. So model number 1 is give clearer feedback to others without judgment. Yes, you know, one thing about business is all about feedback. For example, if you sit and observe your competitors, what you're getting is feedback. They have taken action and then you're receiving feedback. Business is all about feedback. If a customer buys something from you and they're happy with it, that's feedback. If they're angry, that's feedback. Okay? But there are certain feedbacks that need you to respond. There are certain feedbacks that need you to respond, because if you don't respond, you will not solve a problem. Okay? So one of the ways, because since business, a central piece of business is all about feedback, you're always collecting information from one end to another. You are always in that state. Everything to you is feedback. Everything to you is data. Everything to you is information. You are always at that particular state. You understand? So feedback becomes very important ways that you can solve problems. And the best way to solve problems through feedback is give clearer feedback to others without judgment. When you perceive someone's behavior negatively, it could be a staff behavior, it could be a senior manager's behavior, it could be a customer's behavior. When you perceive someone's behavior negatively, we often jump to conclusions and make assumptions about why someone acted the way they did, right? So when giving feedback to that person, it can be hard to stay objective if you already have a certain perception or certain assumptions. That is why in business, it is good to avoid making general assumptions with one source of data, one-sided story. Sometimes you just need to gather the needed information as much as possible. Okay, now let us break this down. There's this model called situation behavior impact. It's a tool developed by the Center for Creative Leadership that helps you remove judgment out of the feedback you give and make it clearer, right? There are some people that when they see their competitors just get angry, right? Which is not that is not the best way out. The best way is for you to see how you can absorb that feedback, analyze it, and make better decisions out of that. There are some people that when a problem happens, because the outcome of a problem is the feedback of an action, it's the feedback for that task. Any problem that happens means that something went wrong. And that's feedback that you're receiving as problem because something went wrong. Now, when that problem now arises, many people get just emotionally driven and they get angry, they do certain things and all of that, right? But it is more powerful for you as a leader not to allow your emotions to be on the driver's seat. No, it's for you to find a way to remove judgment out of the feedback you're about to give and remove judgment from your observation and focus a lot on data, facts, reasoning, and trying to get as much perspectives as possible. It is going to help you make it very clear. Now, how does this work? How does situation behavior impact work? SBI offers a simple few steps along which you can structure the feedback you want to give. Now, there are many of us that we have given feedback to solve a problem, which instead led to more problem. Right? You're trying to solve a problem by giving feedback, and you get it totally wrong, and you solve and you create more problem. Instead of your feedback providing answers to the problem, providing solutions to the chaos, you are instead funding the chaos. I'm sure we have discovered ourselves in that particular situation. Number one, the first process that you can do this is start with the situation where the behavior occurred. This helps with making the feedback specific and the other person can more easily relate to it. So in simple terms, understand the situation where the behavior occurred. If a staff comes to you and report another staff, that maybe another staff disrespected him or her, or another staff did this and all of that, the most important thing to do here is start with the situation where it occurred, where the behavior occurred, what exactly happened, what led to this particular outcome. Same as a customer. And this customer's problems remain the most delicate problems in business. Forget about business sustainability if you don't have what it takes to solve customers' problem. So when a customer brings back feedback which reads like problem, you need to start with the situation where the behavior occurred. What is the exact situation engineering this behavior? From there now you go to behavior itself. Describe the specific behavior you are giving feedback about. What does that mean? You need to understand the behavior. Tell the other person what you have done or what you have seen, not your interpretation of it. This is critical to leave your judgment out of the feedback. So it is about you being specific. Being specific. Forget about your personal judgment. No, ascertain the behavior. You can even get a pen and a paper and begin to list. Okay, look, you messed up here. This is how you acted wrong. How you acted here wrong. How you acted here wrong. Right? Forget about your personal judgment. Make sure you clearly communicate the specific behavior you are trying to give feedback about. If a customer comes to you and they are angry because of what one of your staff did, you need to talk to the customer and specifically describe the behavior you're giving feedback about. It's beyond judgment. It's about being specific so you can address the problem from that root cause. Then the impact. Explain what kind of impact their behavior had. This cuts across any other feedback that you are handling as far as problems are concerned. If you're trying to handle a problem which a staff did, which made a customer to be angry, you need to explain the kind of impact the behavior of the staff had to the customer and to the business as a whole. This can range from what you thought, felt, and why to a broader impact on others and the whole team. Then the intent comment. Sometimes you may want to ask what the intention was behind their behavior. Yes. So you can get more data. So you can go for more intent. Sometimes you just ask, okay, tell me, what were your intentions acting this way towards your colleague? What were your intentions acting this way towards that particular customer? They might have a sound reason that you don't know about or is different from your assumption. This is the power of this point. So you need to make sure that before you are acting to solve that particular problem, you have all the right data available. This can greatly help explain the gap between their intent and the actual impact. And it can open up your mind to also see exactly what led to that particular situation. So what am I trying to say? There is a problem next time, or maybe you have a problem going on right now. Point one, make sure you ascertain the situation which led to that behavior. Just understand the situation. Ask yourself, what is the exact situation? Number two, describe the specific behavior you are giving feedback about. Okay, try to understand the behavior of all the parties involved in that particular situation. Then you look at the impact. What is the negative impact? Because you are dealing with a problem already. That means there's already a negative impact. But what is the specific impact? There is a kind of impact that can make a customer to reject the goods and request for refund. And that could be the impact. The customer is requesting the refund. But again, we have seen that in the midst of that impact, as the leader trying to solve the problem, go deeper. Ask what the intention was about that particular behavior. There are some people that before they behave in a certain way, even you, when you hear, you are surprised. So at some point, you may need to get their own point of view before you are taking the final step. Okay, so you do that. Model number two. This is one of the very popular models when it comes to solving problems. It's called the Ishikawa diagram by this Japanese expert. Ishikawa diagram. I love to use the Ishikawa diagram. I use it very often on a lot of different problems because it gives a broader perspective of me looking at the challenge. So it's a perfect model that you can use to identify the root causes of problems in your business. Now, let's say, for example, so this is a diagram like this, where you draw an arrow and then you bring out small arrows from it and all of that. Now, let us say there's a problem that Madam Pam raised yesterday, where she was saying that sometimes when their customers come outside the building, they don't know the door of their office to enter, and sometimes they go ask a fellow competitor, right? That's what she said. Now that is the problem, and the problem now you can now write it here. You cannot state the problem here. Customers, potential cost, because if it is already paying customers, they will actually know the door. So you cannot say potential, it needs to be as specific as possible. Potential customers' difficulty in locating the office. You now put there, okay. You now start need to break, okay, what is leading to this particular problem? You draw a line like this, okay. One is poor directions. You can say poor directions. Two, another general point I can come here, poor direction. Two, you can say poor branding or poor poor signpost and all of that. Okay, you can see come now under poor signpost. You see like here, you still break again. You need to break until you get to the core, to the root cause, because Ishikawa diagram focuses on the root cause, Because if the cause here is, the first cause here starting says poor branding, okay, poor branding. Let's say this one, but it's still general. Okay, what is leading to poor branding? Okay, you can say inadequate budget or poor budgeting. Okay, that's another problem. Now, what is leading to poor budgeting? Okay, the business does not even pay attention to creating a branding budget for the business. Okay, good. That's another, you see the root cause now. Why is there no budget at all for branding? Next, the business does not discuss about it during staff meeting or management meeting. Okay, good. Why don't the business discuss about it during management meeting? Because nobody brings it up. You see, you have gotten right to the root cause of it now. You have not, okay, you know what, for us to sort this thing, I will go and bring up that we should create a branding budget for this company next month. You get the concept? You now come again. So it helps you to break it down. As you're drawing lines, you're writing. You're drawing lines, you're writing. You're drawing lines, you're writing until you get to the root cause. Okay, that is the concept of Ishikawa diagram. So you can pick a problem right now that you're going through in your business right now. You write the problem here, and then you start talking about the causes and sub-causes, causes and sub-causes. Like what you see here, these are sub-causes, okay. This is the main cause, okay, good. What is the sub-cause? What is the sub-cause? Until you get to the root cause. When you get to the root causes, you now pick it and you start solving. Ishikawa diagram is a great tool to help you solve problems by identifying the root cause. That's why I like it. It takes you to the root causes of it. Sometimes also called the cause and effect or fishbone diagram. It was created by a Japanese professor, Kaoru Ishikawa. It's especially effective for tackling what? Complex problems. And the best way to solve complex problems is to go to the root cause of that particular complex problem. So number one, define the problem. So you need to define the problem here. You write the problem. You need to define the problem and put it here. Start with defining the problem. So it is hard for you to use the Ishikawa diagram if you cannot clearly define the problem. Then drawing line to the left or right of it, that's up to your preference, okay? The line will be for adding factors in the next step, all right? Then number two, identify the contributing factors and categories. List out the factors and categories that could be contributing to the problem you're solving. Plot them along the main line. That's it. Plot them where you see, plot them here along the main line. That's what we're talking about. You can come up with your own factors. You might use generic categories. You can use people. There are some problems that when you start, okay, poor staff, then you need to go to the sub. Why do you have poor staff? Our recruitment is poor. Our recruitment process is poor. Okay, why is our recruitment process poor? There's nobody on the team that can do proper interviews and all of that. Okay, why don't we have someone on the team? Okay, we have not recruited a human resource manager. Okay, how do we solve this? Next recruitment, we must look for somebody who read human resource management in school, for example. You see? So you can come up with generic factors. It could be equipment. Maybe that problem you're going through is because the equipment are old. That's the main line, right? Like here, like where you have this synchronous. Okay, old equipment. You're not breaking down. Why do you have old equipment? There's no proper attention to getting new equipment. Okay, why? Maybe we don't calculate depreciation on our assets. Why don't you calculate that? We don't have an accountant to help us do that. We don't have an asset register. You see, you start breaking it down until you get to the root cause of that problem. Measurement, material, environment, government, whatever. Categorizing is very helpful for you to break down complex problems and looking at them from where different perspectives. That's also one thing I like about Ishikawa diagram. It helps you to look at problems from different perspectives. Okay, who is thinking that they'll go and use Ishikawa diagram tomorrow in their business? Leave me a comment. Who feels like you want to go and use Ishikawa diagram? That's why sometimes, even in my house, I always have cardboard papers. I always have cardboard papers. And I put them on the wall. And you see I'm drawing problems as if I'm doing one architectural design. Now, problem are solved. Right? Yeah, I draw the Ishikawa diagram, I'm breaking it down, or they come and tell me, or even in my consulting work, I use most of these tools. You come and tell me your problem is okay. We chat for about 1 hour, do the coaching, and then it's okay. I'll give you answers tomorrow. I'm about to go enter my lab. When I enter my lab now, I begin to break it down. I begin to diagnose it. I begin to go deep. Before you know it, I come to and I begin to tell you, okay, if this is happening in your business, then this already happened somewhere. Is that true? Say yes. How do you know, sir? No, I prophesied. No, well, don't bother. It's business, it's strategy, right? And one thing about Ishikawa diagram that works very well is that you should the amount of information that you have. Like for me, I know a lot about business, right? I've been doing business like since secondary school. I know a lot about that's one thing I'm grateful for personally for me. I started reading, I choose commercial education from Form 1. So from Form 1 to today, how many years of studying business? 2000, 2002, 20 years of studying business, right? So I did business education, secondary school, high school, university, I'm teaching business, all of that. So what am I trying to say? The amount of information that you also have about your business, about your institution, about the problem you're trying to solve also helps you a lot to use the Ishikawa diagram very well. That's what I've discovered from my observation. Okay, so we have seen this step 1 on how you can use Ishikawa diagram. We have seen define the problem, be very specific. Now we have seen identify the contributing factors or categories to that problem. Number 3, find the possible root causes related to each factor. I was doing examples already. So we're already seeing, I gave people all of that. So I always encourage, ask why is this happening? Always ask why. When you ask why, get the question. Write down each idea as a line under the factor it relates to. The first principle thinking is useful here, including the 5 whys method. So you can pick one category and you ask 5 whys. Ask why 5 times. It's going to take you deeper than you think. It's going to send your mind somewhere. Keep in mind that the problem might not have just one root cause, but multiple root causes. Never forget that. Never assume that there's only one root cause. No. Many problems will have multiple root causes. So it is important to capture everything that might explain the problem, even if just partially. Yes, capture everything. Capture everything first. Then you start breaking it down and analyzing to come to the final conclusion. At this point, you should have a complete diagram, but no definitive answer yet. Yes, at point 3, you will have so many lines here and there and all of that, but you will not have the definite answer. Number 4, now analyze the diagram. You now analyze your findings, now analyze the root cause analysis that you have seen. The most important step is looking at all the possible root causes and analyzing them. The diagram now provides a structure for your most important thinking and next steps. Yes, it now helps, okay, Sometimes when you do the Ishikawa diagram, that's okay, oh, this, it has happened here in this business. This has happened here. It has happened. You now see those things that the diagram is telling you which happened in your business or which already happened as far as that problem is concerned. Then you start solving them. You start designing solutions now from a perspective that you are very sure as far as that is concerned. There are many possibilities of what you can do at this point. Perhaps you can gather more data or evidence for each root cause. Yeah, there are some, you may discover some root cause that you may need to go to the field and gather more data, right? So you may discover that. Or immediately identify the most likely one and quickly try to solve it. Yeah, you can still go through that, and in less than no time, you will quickly realize that, oh, this is the problem giving me headaches so far. And then you can just quickly solve that particular problem. That's one beautiful thing about the Ishikawa diagram. You will discover some problems that you can do. You can take hours to do diagram, and you will have a solution to that problem in just like 30 minutes or even 5 minutes. And you implement it and you see changes in your business. Okay. Model number 3. Model number 3. Productive thinking model. Solve problems creatively and efficiently. So we're looking at the productive thinking model. What does this mean? By applying more structured and critical thinking, you can understand the problem at hand better and come up with more creative solutions. Yes, so here we're talking about, Ishikawa diagram also involves structured thinking, process thinking, all of that, right? Now, with this productive thinking model, you're following a particular pattern of certain key things that you'll begin to look at as you solve that particular problem. The first under productive thinking model is you ask what is going on. It's the same that understand the situation. What is exactly going on? The first step is about understanding the problem better. You can use these guiding questions to help you. And this is one thing you need to understand about problem solving, asking good questions. Problem solvers are the best question askers. Let me tell you one thing about problem solving in any business, even in your personal life. If you are good at asking yourself good questions, very good, deep, tailored questions, you always have a lot of answers to many things. So step 1, ask what is going on. Your job here in step 1 is to understand exactly what is going on. And you can use guiding questions like, what is the problem exactly? You state the problem. And as I always recommend, there are some problems that you cannot solve just with your head and with your hands on your jaws. No, get a pen, get a paper, get a book. If you come to my office today, there are always books on my desk that are just for problem solving. You'll see all kinds of handwritings there, all kinds of diagrams there, up and down. It's the best way to solve problems. I don't think you can ever solve a problem effectively by just sitting and then closing your eyes and thinking. Some of you even sleep off in that mode of thinking. You just think like that, and then 5 minutes, boom, you have gone. You have gone already to the next dimension of rest. You come back and still meet the problem, right? So I prefer you are active. That's why sometimes I prefer cardboard. I prefer papers. I put it on the wall. I get a board marker, or I use sticky notes. I like to use sticky notes a lot. Even on my laptop, I have sticky notes when I use when I don't have a pen or paper. And I'm just going here and there, back and forth, just gathering more data, understanding different dynamics here and there. It makes you to solve problems much, much better. So what is the problem exactly? What is the problem exactly? Then you describe the problem in writing. Sometimes I always challenge myself to describe the problem in not more than 2 sentences. I try to make it as specific as possible. Don't go and describe the problems in so many paragraphs, right? Number 2, what is the impact of this problem? Yes. What is the impact of this problem, especially if it's related to a particular thing? For example, how will this problem impact the staff? How will this problem impact sales? How will this problem impact profits? How will this problem impact sustainability? How will this problem that you begin to you tell it what is the impact of this, even generally to business? Then you provide the responses. What do I already know? Yes, in every problem, you always have a head-on about something. If you are really a serious business person, what do I already know? What information do I have? Let's say it's a staff issue. Sometimes when the problem happens, you may already have staff contract, you already have staff handbook, you already have this and this and this. That is already what you already know. So you need to consult what you already know so that you can give you a head start. So for every problem, you also need to ascertain from your angle, what do you already know? What information do you have? That is the foundation of it all, okay? Next question is, who is involved in this? Yes. Who is involved in this? What I always do is sometimes is I draw a circle. Then I begin to write those who are involved in the problem. Okay, all right, this one is involved, this one is involved. It makes it easier for you to see how to deal with the situation. Know all the stakeholders involved in the problem you are trying to solve. Next question is, what's the vision of the future when this problem is solved? Yes. What would be the future state of your business if the problem is solved? Or what kind of future do you want to see your business be if this problem is solved? Because you need to, anytime you're solving a problem, you need to have a vision, you need to have a future that you want to attain. For example, you're going to be, okay, you know what? When I solve this problem, I want to see a more profitable business by 10%. When I solve this problem, I want to see a more united staff and a more collaborative staff. You get the concept? So you need to, for every problem, there should be a vision so that you also know that, hey, if I don't solve this problem the right way, this future state of the business will be affected. And it's always good to have a very clear vision as far as that problem is concerned. This is the kind of future, this is the kind of vision I want to see when I solve this particular problem. This is what Hosson calls target future, right? Document answers you gather here as you would need them later in the process. So this is just step 1, right? Just providing some questions that I can ask in this step 1 to get the answers to what is going on. So you need to ask all of these 5 questions. And many a time, the few times I have used this particular tool, I always get a sense of the solution to that problem just in this phase 1. Phase 2, ask what is success. This step will help you define what success looks like in your vision of the future. That is, this is what the success will look like if we solve this problem today. This is what success looks like next week, next month, next year, if we solve this problem. To come up with the success criteria, you can use what is called a drive framework. This is a drive framework, which is made up of questions too. What do you want the solution to do? Yes, that solution that you are thinking of creating, what do you want the solution to achieve? You write it down. Okay, you know what? I'm looking for a kind of solution that will increase our monthly profit by 30%. I am looking for a kind of solution that will enable the staff to work in a highly collaborative atmosphere. I am looking for a solution that will enable us to always be 10 steps ahead of the competitor. You get the concept? So what do you want the solution to be? You need to have that in mind. What are the restrictions? What must it not do? Okay, so you can use inversion to help you hear more, where you can reverse all of that. But what are the possible restrictions as far as solving this problem is concerned? You identify the restrictions. What are the possible restrictions? Okay, this problem, the restriction may be point one. Maybe there are some problems that you need a lot of money to do. Restrictions, lack of financial resources. You write it down. Another restriction may be maybe the team members do not want to collaborate. Okay, how do you achieve that? Another restriction may be you have limited information. Okay, how do you get the information? Then the next is, what resources can we invest in this? Yes, there are some problems that you need to invest certain resources to solve the problem. You need to ascertain that from the beginning. Okay, maybe there are some problems that for you to really solve, you need to recruit a new staff. Okay, do you have the money to pay the monthly salary of the staff that you are recruiting? There are some problems for you to solve. You will need to invest some money in buying material. Let's say like the problem Madam Pam shared about all of that. Maybe they decide, okay, you know what? We need to improve on our branding and create more attractive materials and put outside our office area. Okay, that needs money. What values should the solution have? Yes, this is very important. There are some solutions that if you create against your values, it will affect you tomorrow. So, you know what? This solution that we want to create, number one, this solution must be cost effective. Oh, yes. It must be cost effective. Number two, this solution must easily be implemented. Number three, this solution, everybody involved must easily understand. Number four, this solution must be full of integrity and honesty. It must respect all the parties. You see, you establish the values of the solution. Then, what are the essential outcomes? This is where you need to state the essential outcomes. Okay, the essential outcomes, okay, you know what? This solution must be implemented within 2 days. When this solution is implemented, I want to start seeing the following and the following. Maybe I want to start seeing better sales. I want to start seeing more leads from the marketing. I want to start seeing a more happy staff. Whatever I want to see as essential outcomes, you clearly state it and ascertain exactly the essential outcomes of that particular solution. Then you go to number three, ask what's the question. Now it is time for you to generate questions that must be answered to achieve your vision, a target future. Susan calls this catalytic questions. Use the information you have gathered in the previous steps, like how might we or how can I, will help you to formulate the question. So at this stage, you need to use how might we, how can I, because here now you're trying to get to the solution itself. Again, as I said, one thing I love about this model is that you can use just model two. You can use just, this two here, under this two, and go deep, and you get every other stuff. So now you can use just one here, under these sample questions in one, these guiding questions in one, and you can be able to solve your problem. Sometimes you can use this point three, and you can be able to solve your problem, right? So you ask, how might we, how can I, to help you formulate the possible questions, okay? Then number four, generate the answers from point three. Try to come up with as many answers to the catalytic questions as you can. This is a secret here. Many answers. Brainstorm. Don't judge and collect ideas. No, your job is to collect ideas. Don't judge them. Don't skip certain things because they're against your personal views and opinions. No. Data is more important than what you feel in business. Facts, logical reasoning is better than your feelings in business. So generate the answers without, don't judge, don't do any bias answer generation. No, focus on fact. Generate the answers from the place of facts. When you do that now, the next step now is where you narrow down your list of ideas to the most promising ones. Okay, you now narrow it down. And when you do that, you now need to choose the solution, this which is point 5. You need to choose the best solution before developing it further. Because in point 4, you will have all the possible solutions, all the possible promising solutions. You're going to have all of them. It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 7, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, whatever. Then in point 5, you are forging the solution. You need to choose the best solution before developing it further. And of course, the best solution needs to consider many of these. What values should the solution have? What are the essential outcomes that you want to see the solution produce? What are the restrictions? What do we need to invest? All of that. So you still bring back these questions and use them now to forge the best solution. Take your list from the previous steps, evaluate each idea solution against the success criteria of step 2. You get a point? Yes. Against the success criteria of step 2. This is what we're talking about. So when you're in point 5, when you take out your list from the previous step, you need to evaluate each of them, each of the best possible solutions that you have picked against the success criteria. The solution that meets the success criteria more will possibly be your best solution for the problem. This one mostly happened in point 5. That one solution that meets all the criteria or majority of the criteria will probably be your best solution for you to practice. Then point 6, we spoke about this in a small way. This is where now you move towards executing the solution. And the resources here are very important. Write down which actions and resources are necessary to make this happen. Identify people who are responsible for it in whole as well as each part of the solution. What action have you decided to take? Good. Which amount of money, how much do you need as money to make it happen? What kind of equipment do you need to make it happen? How many people on your team do you need to make it happen? So you begin to align the picked solution in point 5 with the resources that you have in order to implement it. Identify people who are responsible for it. Because having a good solution when you don't know whether you have the resources to implement or not is actually a big problem. Your solution can only be effective if you have the money, the equipment, the human resources to actually implement that particular solution. Then you are on your way to go. All right, model statement worksheet, problem statement worksheet, that's the 4th model. Problem statement worksheet, that is the 4th model that we're looking at as far as solving problems is concerned in achieving sustainability. Again, I want to emphasize, because many times when I teach this, many people feel as if they feel overwhelmed about it. No, the secret on how we should not be overwhelmed should be, number one, you need to understand that you don't need to use all at once in all problems. No, you just need to be aware of this, that, okay, this exists, and I can use this. Anytime that you have a problem, you go pick one that best suits that problem and you use it. That's what I do personally. Okay. And secondly, sometimes when you think about this in your head alone, you might feel overwhelmed. No. Make sure that anytime you want to practice any of these, you actually do it practically. And that's why I'm going to give an assignment, and I'm going to give a general assignment for us to do. And I want you to go, you're going to use the Ishikawa diagram, okay? You're going to pick a problem in your business, any problem you're facing in your business at the moment. Pick that problem, get a cardboard paper, get a tape, put it on the wall of your house. Put it on the wall of your house. Pick that problem, put it at the top, and then begin to use the Ishikawa model of solving problem and solve that problem. Take a snapshot and send to me on WhatsApp before the class after tomorrow. So you have tomorrow, the whole of tomorrow, and after tomorrow, do that assignment. But I want to go through, but be serious about the process. Go through it. It's going to help you a lot, because it's almost the same way like solving problems with all of these models. The difference now is the quality of questions and the type of questions you ask using any particular model. And hey, you can combine more than one model and solve one problem. Yes, you can pick some bits and pieces from different models and you solve the problem. Okay, so let us look at model number 4 that you can use to solve your business problems in order to achieve sustainability. And this is called the problem statement worksheet. Okay, I'm going to walk you through that. This was developed by McKinsey. Yes, this is a product of McKinsey. So let us see it. I like it because it works. Okay, problem statement worksheet is used for problem solving. So so if you look here, this is how it is described. If you look at it, it says describe. So it's like a sheet. So let me just explain, but this is the sheet that you can use. This is the sheet that you can use. But it's explained here as you see. Now, so let's say you want to solve a problem. The first step that you can do is the question, the basic question to be resolved. Every problem in business, every problem in your life, you need to bring it down to a question. Like I was coaching one girl, and one of her friends was that guys are, and I asked her, go and write this question. Why are guys always dumping you? And then begin to look for the answer to that question. Begin to look for the answers. Check character, check attitude, check everything in your life. That's the question. Summarize. Don't say that you have bad relationship. Okay, we know. But go and summarize it to one question. Why are guys always dumping me, despite the fact that I am beautiful? That was it. That was the assignment I gave her. And then, what am I trying to say? Be good. The first step to solving your problem is to always turn that problem into a question. Concisely define in the form of a question what must be resolved. This focuses your work and ensures that your findings are actionable. Your basic question should be smart. It should be specific, measurable, action-oriented, relevant, and time-bound. When you have done that, you start breaking down the question. It will look for the solution, to look for the answer. Context. You need to think about the environment around the problem you're facing. Like, for example, one thing I've learned is there are certain business problems that you see a business facing in Cameroon, another business facing the same problem in Dubai or even in the US, and I will have to design different solutions to those problems because the context is different, although it is the same business problem for different businesses, but the context, the environment where these businesses exist is different. So you need to, with this model, you need to understand your context around the problem you are solving. Okay, will internal or external situations affect how you solve the problem? Yes, you need to ask yourself that. Are there complications to consider? This field may encompass current industry trends, availability of finance, skill gaps on your team. You need to understand the context. Like even your country, industry trends, availability of money, availability of team members. Do you have good or lazy team members? Let's look at that. Then stakeholders. Yes, here you list all the major players critical to your solution. For you to solve that problem, who are the major players that you need to be on your team for you to solve that problem? Consider all decision makers who could support or block your solution. Yes. In all of these stakeholders, who can support you solve this problem and who can be a hindrance? So you know how to manage them. Also include internal and external parties who might affect how your solution is implemented. Within the organization, within your family, externally, who are those who might affect how your solution is implemented? Constraints with solution space. While scope defines the space of your solution, constraints focus on what can or cannot happen within that space. So you need to understand. You need to understand the space, the solution space where you want to design the solution for that problem. What are the constraints? What are the difficult? What are the hindrances and all of that? Then you look at the scope of the solution space. What will or will not be considered in your solution? That's it. For example, you'll be trying to solve a problem, a solution, and you know that, hey, any solution that the cost of implementing is more than 1 million, you are not thinking about it because you don't even have that money. You don't even know where to get the money. So any solution more than 1 million counts you out. That's an example of the scope, right? The scope should be broad enough to ensure that you are considering all relevant solutions. Yeah, in that direction too. Yet narrow enough to ensure that your analysis are manageable. Criteria for success. What must happen for your solution to be successful? We studied already, right? What must happen for the solution to be successful? Okay, for this solution to be successful, our business should start making sales of 1 million francs extra every week or $5,000 extra every week. You do that. What could happen to make your solution a failure? Yes. What can happen to cause this solution a failure? You anticipate the risk and have a plan to manage it. Consider timing of impact, visibility of improvement, mindset shift, and what success look like for key stakeholders that we have seen so far. Criteria should be measurable. Use numbers. Use numbers. Don't just say we want to be successful. What does that mean? Use numbers so that you can judge whether or not your solution, your final solution satisfies the stakeholders or not. Until it is measurable, you cannot determine how satisfied the key stakeholders will be with the solution. And of course, key sources of insight. Where do you get information? Where do you turn to for information? Can you leverage available resources from your department, from your organization, from your industry, from books, from newspapers, from Google, from YouTube videos, wherever you are, from mentors, coaches, consultants, where can you source key insights? Because there are many problems that on your own you will not be able to solve. You need key insights, key information to be able to solve their problems. Okay? Identifying these resources will simplify your efforts and ensure you are not repeating work that is already been done. Okay? So information simplifies effort a lot. Right insight simplifies a lot of effort and open you up for opportunity. So this is the worksheet that you can use. You pick the problem that you are facing. Okay? You pick the problem that you are facing. You write that problem here in the text box. Write the problem there, and then you determine the context, the stakeholders, constraint solution space, scope of solution space, criteria for success, key insights, key sources of insight. When you do that, at the end, you will discover how to solve the problem, because you have established the context, you have established the people involved in the whole of the process, you have established the scope as far as constraints are concerned, you have established the space as far as constraints are concerned, you have established the space as far as the scope is concerned, you have established the criteria for success as far as that solution is concerned. You also know where to get insights. There are many people that have provided wrong solutions to problems because of inadequate information. Why? Because they have poor sources of insight. When you're able to achieve this, when you look at this, you're able to know, okay, this is how I should act. Because one thing that a sheet like this will help you do is to know how to act, to know the steps to take, that one firm decision that you can take to be able to see the success you are looking for. Okay, so this is model number 4 on the problem statement worksheet. Okay, so which can you implement? That's the question for you. Which can you implement? Out of these 4 that we have seen, which one will you go and implement this week as far as that particular problem is concerned? And I want to challenge you. Go and pick any of what, go and pick just one persistent problem in your business. Now let's do this now. Comment on the chat box one persistent problem in your business, like in the last 6 months, and then tell me which model, just one of the models that you will go and use to solve that problem. Leave me a comment in the chat box. One problem. I need a problem that has been persistent for more than 6 months or 6 months. There's something called persistent problems, and you didn't know how to do what to do with it. You now have models that you can use and break down that problem and get to the root causes and even know the solution. It's better to know the solution to something and not have the money or not have the whatever that you need, the resources, as we have seen. But it's better to, so that when the resources come, you know how to act accordingly. So tell me, what is that one problem that has been persistent in your company? And 2, which problem-solving model will you use? Okay. Yes, I'm reading. So I would conclude. In conclusion, as companies grow, we saw this, as companies grow, leaders lose grasp of how all the elements are intertwined. And the best way to avoid losing grasp and failing so far is for you to avoid not knowing how to solve these problems, because lack of understanding and practice of these problem-solving mental models and principles will lead to slow growth. See, nothing slows Nothing slows down a business like persistent problems, like problems consistently existing and they are not being solved. It slows down a business so seriously. That's why it's not good to pamper problems. Some problems, they are not easy to solve, but you need to always be on that case until you have solved the problem. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for paying attention. And I hope you picked out some lessons that will definitely impact you.